Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Before we get on to our agenda items, the temperature has come to our attention and we tried to pare down the meeting. The things that we were going to put off until next week are the West Street sewer, the discussion of tax rate, the road commissioner, the elementary school, the common tree maintenance, and treasurer transition, and bike tech request form. And I think we should have a vote from the select board to. We should have a vote from the board to diminish the items on the posted agenda. So do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, then we'll go on to the approval of the minutes from July 22nd. I don't know if you folks have gotten a chance to read them over.
Yes.
A motion to accept? So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? No?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we go on to the list of, I'm going to cross out the West Street sewer. We have the submission of the town plan, town hall request forms, contract for Windham County Solid Waste. Kevin Burke Bike Tech is being put off till next week, and movie night request for town hall. And then we will move on to members of the public. Cara Cain. So would you like to speak to us, Cara?
Yes, I am here because I live off of Brattleboro, which has been having all the culvert work done to it. And when I found that out, I did speak to Jeremy about my concerns, just because my property goes right off behind the property. Culverts there are dumping a lot of real green water out. And he explained that he was doing culvert that was required by the state, and that he wasn't planning on putting any culverts in except for one that was by my mailbox at the very end of the bottom of Backhoe. And while he was doing that, he found an old culvert that he did not know that was there, and replaced that culvert. And it is like right at my driveway or at the road, and it's going to be washing out that my driveway as a watershed. And I was hoping that the town could help do some sort of mitigation to keep that from washing out the driveway.
Okay. Or somebody that has more. Jeremy, do you want to speak to that?
All I did was place a culvert that I found while we were pitching. This was the winter outcrop in the ditch that was there years ago for that reason. Water from the roadhouse. Guess because it dumps out onto the bank, which is 10 feet above the road. Still within the town right away. I don't know what else. So.
Okay, what does the board feel?
Well, we've dealt with this. I've dealt with you in the past. The same thing with the ditching and upgrading from the 15-inch metal culverts to the 18-inch plastic culverts. The culverts have always been there. The water has to go somewhere. We can't let the water go all the way down the right-hand side of the road because there would be a road left. We did that. Unfortunately, the storms that we're getting today are more intense than the storms we got 20 years ago. So more water volume. The stone line ditching will help with the debris that's included with the water passing through the culverts. Well, those culverts have been there.
Right. I'm only speaking to the one specifically that is right at the 10 feet above my road, my driveway. There's no stone ditching there or anything like that. It's just the culvert, and then there's dirt right around it, and then it just goes right out onto the bank that goes in my driveway.
You have a driveway culvert?
Because
It's not. Would that help?
It would, somebody would ditch, you know, basically,
Like at the end, do you understand at the end of your driveway?
Yeah,
some
yeah, and
people-
I do, and then I spoke to Jeremy, he explained what would need to happen in order to connect that culvert with another culvert that would feed into the other spot.
So with that,
as it is now, that's why we added a culvert at the very bottom of that road. To get the water from the first side of the road to the other ditch, to get down to the catch basin. This is part of our KSA project this year. So what we should have in the driveway is a driveway culvert to feed from the bottom of the bank across our driveway that feeds the new culvert that we just put in.
so the water does not end up in Will Bismuth's backyard.
Right, that was the reason I added culvert there. The other issue is her driveway is valley, it's in a valley. So there's, I mean, unless somebody builds up, you know, her driveway pitches uphill side of it, it's gonna continue to grow water.
So the answer is a driveway culvert.
Yes.
And that would be a homeowner expense?
Yes.
So I guess it's, how do you feel about that?
Well, I hope that the town can help out with it or explain, like, I don't know, like, how it's okay for the culvert to come onto my property, but then not to help the water to not wash up.
So what we've done in the past with a couple of residents on 1,000 acres is if the resident purchased a culvert, the town will install it so it's done correctly.
Yeah, because I don't have any other machinery or anything like that.
No, I mean, you could hire somebody, but what he's saying in the past, we'll give you the culvert, you buy the culvert, you pay for the culvert, and we'll do the man hours.
Speculations that I'm sure people kind of culvert.
Jeremy is going to answer that question.
So do we need to make a motion for that, or?
We have it in the past.
Okay, it'll be a matter of the minutes, and you can work with Jeremy, and he'll keep us posted, right, Jeremy?
Say that again?
You'll keep us posted on working together, figuring out what type of culvert she should buy, how much it will cost her, and when you can do that. Okay?
Thank you.
And if you work with Jeremy, W&W still has the state bid?
Yep.
Okay, if you work with Jeremy, he can give you the state bid price from W&W, save you some money, because culverts right now are very expensive. It'll save you some money, and then the town will install them.
I appreciate that.
And feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like. So, okay, now we're gonna move on to Lindsay. Can I finish this? Yep, that's all right. We have correspondence from Lindsay. In regard to West Street Sewer, I have moved it to next week with your permission, but I would like to suggest that at some point you read over what she's requesting, so it's not a shock for next week or next meeting. Then we will go on to the warrants, Rob.
Make motion to pay the warrants, starting with number one payroll, the amount of $14,468.98. Number two payroll package, the amount of $6,522.57. Number three general fund, the amount of $14,696.44. Number four general fund, in the amount of $1,786. Number five, general fund, the amount of $100.58. Number six, general fund, the amount of $272.86. Number seven, highway fund, the amount of $163,874.46. Number eight, highway fund, in the amount of $1,106.18. Number nine, highway fund, in the amount of $627.57. Number 11, fire pond fund for the fire department, in the amount of $4,584.36. And then the library fund for $41.32, for a total of $208,080.92.
I'll second.
I have a question. See, the warrants was $163,000. that, but
Yeah, but so it's.
I think it's for the payoff for the loader. bucket loader.
Yeah, we have to amend this.
We didn't, yeah, they'll take that decision.
What's the problem?
Highway, payroll 2 wasn't on here.
That came in late, so we have to make the amendment.
The treasurer's on vacation and Anita did it last minute.
$144,242 for Basin Brothers. What the highways. And the other big one was diesel fuel,
it's still,
$3,000.
And we're just waiting because I think that, see how it says payroll 1 and taxes 1, there was a payroll 2. And I
Correct.
think it was not added on here. So we'll wait 1 second.
Payroll 2, details.
Amend my motion to add in payroll number 2, in the amount of $15,654.49. And payroll tax number 2, in the amount of $4,162.21.
Second.
For a total of $227,897.62.
And we can put,
So that Basin Brothers covers the Route 35 paving and that thing we did on the dam road?
no, that would be good.
That, okay.
If you're not up there, every night.
Oh,
Their final bill came in over because asphalt prices changed. Price, the price for 30 days. So. I think it was about,
And that's for the Route 35, but that's okay because we're getting reimbursed. Yeah.
okay. Any further
As a
comment?
matter of fact, I believe I made that motion and I thought it was to be not to exceed 141,000 and change.
To look back on the Basin Brother motion?
it was to not, Rob generally makes motions not to exceed.
Okay,
Because of that reason.
so should we not pay them? I mean, I'm all for that if that's what the board needs.
If we make a motion and they don't follow through with the motion, we might make a
If
motion.
well,
Do we amend that?
well, my only thought, well, we can amend it as many times as we want to be here, but is there anything else in it that, like, they were going to do part of the dam road, and I don't know if that could be included in there?
Yeah. It hasn't happened yet, so
So
it
there's-
hasn't been invoiced yet. This is just for the
So
Route 35.
why don't we make a motion to take the Basin Brother off and get some clarity?
Fine with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not in the business of throwing money around.
Nope.
Well, also we make a motion, do something, we have to do it.
Yeah,
also, it might have been some wordage in that contract that was signed with them. I want to double check before you.
But usually we make a motion to pay $141,000.
I understand that, that's
So
maybe why I
if we went through the 12 months of the year, and we did this however many times, what about?
I understand that, Rob, I'm not disagreeing with you. I understand exactly how you did that. That's why when you do contracts with contracting, construction stuff, you always put in an extra 10% in case there is exactly like that. I remember when I was on the board, I brought that up many times that we were doing $200,000 box culvert, holding them to that price and then realized that we needed to do an extra $5,000 with something that was on our end. So I understand you made that motion, you are correct, but when you're sure you signed the contract as a town to hire them to do that, they didn't have that where there's making coverage in that holds you harmless. That it might have been in case paper prices increase, you would be your code. Just saying, not saying you're wrong. Just want to make sure.
Whatever the word says, when we said not to exceed that amount. And I know that before in the past that they stopped short of the expected footage because of they were out of price that it's not to exceed that amount. So, not to be a stickler on words, but.
Sure, I was just saying, point it out.
So what should we do with our warrants, folks?
Amend it.
So make an amendment to take the, you have the warrant.
What's that? Orange?
Yeah. Well, whoever's going to make the motion.
You got the contract right there.
Maybe I should have you look at it to see.
When should we do that? Yeah, probably should go back. This is the other thing we have. Do you want to see the end? He wants to see the actual.
Price is based on current liquid asphalt price of $621 a ton. Price to be adjusted to published liquid asphalt price at time of completion. This quote was valid for 15 days. The date of the quote was 4/14. Paving took place in July. Yes. We're past our 15 days to quote.
So we're at their mercy.
I'll remember that if I say on the story.
Okie dokie.
I'll remind the other board members that I'm not on the board. Because if you give a quote, you can't, well, if you're gonna do that, then you might as well say that we're gonna finish the job within 15 days of whenever the quote is accepted.
Right.
Or else this whole game will wait 3 months. I mean, we could wait 6 months, a year or whatever, and they throw us whatever they want for the liquid asphalt price. So to me, I look at it and that's kind of BS. It's like, if you're gonna take a quote, leave it at the quote and stop going from there.
And maybe next time we do it, we can also instruct Jeremy to talk to them about.
Well, it's not
15
fair,
days.
it's not fair to everybody else, wherever they go to get their asphalt. If, say for instance, that went up 10%, 15%, name a price, whatever, name a number, whatever it is. What happens if somebody else can get it for cheaper? It's like we just kick this team down the road until all of a sudden they're ready to do the job, and then we're at the mercy of a 15% increase, a 7.5% increase, or whatever they're interested in throwing us. So it's like when a quote's given, it should be, that's what it is.
And they know when they're going to do the job.
Well,
Most of the time.
if whatever the deal is, whatever the quote is, get there, do the job to meet the quote, not just have it be a flow of the quote.
Is this something that we could put in the RFP? And see how people respond?
I just know that the next time that we go to vote on it, we better remember that. Not get stuck in the ribbon long hair with them.
Okay, and before we go on to the highway report, we have approved the, did we vote?
We haven't voted.
Oh, we haven't voted on the warrants. All those in favor of the warrants as they are stated and corrected? Aye. Bob, are you yes or no?
I'm no.
Okay.
I made a motion to say not to exceed. and we
I
went through
respect
this-
you
we
for
went
that.
through this years ago. And the whole reason that we put in not to exceed is because that makes it fair for everybody, not this. Well, whatever it is at the price of the market.
Okay,
Well, it's called, if you want the job, get your engineer, get the job done, and get out of here and give us a bill.
okay, so you've got three yes.
Don't put it in money.
Okay, and before we go on to the highway report, I'd like to say, Ally, I'm sorry I didn't talk to you as member of the public.
Oh, that's okay. And thank you guys. This is
Good.
Bye.
Well, thank you for doing it. I'm glad we worked all our sign questions and everything else
Figured it
out.
out
Good.
and got the ground in and other folks that were the great word also they made some money, so that's the can.
Good. Good. Okay, highway, Jeremy?
Been up on Backhoe Road, doing culverts and ditching, Grandpark up there, of course, and all over route. Replacement. We got there for 4 weeks. Temporary road loaders, for 4 weeks, and then, and more culverts, I think, over there. And then, GMP is currently on Simpson Brook Road. The short grant project out, so they should be done by the end of the week, tomorrow. They're completely done, I think, installing power on the Bryan path. They have one more culvert to replace up there, and then I think Saturday they're gonna be in doing cleanup. Grading, ditching, rebuilding headers.
When you say grading, they do the grading?
They're
Okay.
responsible for everything.
Okay.
Start to finish.
I got a lot of calls about that, and that's what I thought it was.
I've had some questions. I talked with Buck Adams today, he's the contractor that's doing the work. He was the one that said, before I leave the job, we're gonna take a ride. If you're not satisfied with anything, let them know, we'll fix it.
Okay, good.
Don't tell too many people. Don't tell too many people.
Okay. And then they'll be on these till, I think, tomorrow. They're gonna call the folks to go over there. And then as soon as we're done Long Road, grading and stuff, we'll be jumping into the next couple of roads to get there cleaned up. At least a few more months. There's still a ways to go, so.
So I got a question for you about the Green Mountain Power. On East Hill, we looked at the plans. Aren't they supposed to go all the way through and down to Hartlepool?
They were supposed to originally, but for some reason they decided to stop the Warrants.
So the whole point of this project is to make it a continuous loop of power so that if there's a problem in one section, it continuously can go to another section. Hold on. And then they did the same thing, I do believe, on Townshend Acres. So the whole point of our government giving Green Mountain Power money is to have these projects done so that we can have a continuous loop of power that goes through our town. And here we are ripping our roads up, doing all this crap. And it doesn't even accomplish the whole entire project.
The initial project.
So it's like you pretty much shot yourself in the foot before you even got out of the gates.
Maybe
So
we
it's
should
like, to me, I'm standing there and I wonder how much fraud is going on when you're getting paid to do a project this way. You change the project in mid-turn, and now we're on to something different. Where did that money go? And what's going on with that? And why are we gonna continuously?
Well, in the interest of time, since there's nobody here that can answer that question, should we have Connie contact them and they come to a meeting?
Well, I'm just bringing it up as a point of
Yeah.
interest.
Well, that's a
before we
good
go.
point, but I don't know that any of
We
us.
should get an answer from GMP about that.
But if we don't do it on front of that camera right there, we can talk amongst ourselves afterwards all we want. But that right
I'm
there
saying
gives
to
us-
invite Tim or the other lady to come and they can answer our questions about that. And it can be on camera.
Perfect.
So, okay. Thank
I
you.
have a question for, if I've been asked, when are we getting fog lines on the
Or not necessarily far line, center line. Center line is the lead sticks out through the middle.
State line does 35? State
Yes.
Yes,
does?
yes,
All paved roads, that's why we took, like,
Okay,
yeah.
So what's the answer there? You can time.
I don't know.
Well, they just did grafted, so they're in the area. Yeah.
Okay, and Laura?
I'm not done with Jeremy.
Okay.
Are you?
No, well, Laura had a question about what was being spoken about.
Go right ahead.
Oh, well, I was just wondering if, Fremont Power comes to Brattleboro and they're replacing culverts, why is the town replace culvert?
Because they're for different jobs. The Green Mountain Power had to replace culverts for the work they're doing. Then there are other culverts that are not involved in the Green Mountain Power work that we need to replace.
Yeah, because they're going right over where that culvert was replaced.
So
because the culvert was proposed as an emergency.
the project was off the air, so I didn't know whether they were going to do the project. The culvert in question has been needed to be replaced for some time now. So I did it. And that's why.
Okay, now I've lost me. Oh, do you have anything else? I had one extra highway piece myself, and that was that Jeremy and I are gonna sit down with several different, performance reviews. One that we found, in the files, the last performance review I could find was 2019 that you did, Steve, with Jeremy. I found a blank one of those, and we'll go over that and start scheduling performance reviews and then report back to the board.
I mean, I did them on every employee, so I don't know why you only found the one.
I don't know why either. But at least I found the blank one because that was a good form. And,
Yes, it was.
and the other ones that I found would have to have a lot of tweaking because they weren't applying to the type job that guys are doing. And at some point after we finish with the highway, we'll decide how far we should go with paid employees. Like Connie should have one. Do we do the library paid employees? They're paid by the town. I don't know, but I'll come back to you for guidance on that.
Steve said he had some.
Roadside mower, when are you expecting it?
I couldn't get it until the week after Labor Day.
Week after Labor.
So I called in April. Instead of it. Pete's only has 2 units that are running out this year, and September was the earliest I could get it.
So that being said, once you complete your class 2 roads, is it possible to hit the roads that were not done last year first?
Yes,
Thank you.
How much time do you have on the
2
rent?
weeks,
2 weeks at 40 hours a week?
44 hours.
Okay.
Otherwise, you pay whatever it is per extra hour.
Because last year we were trying to schedule people coming in early and working late so that we could have like a double shift of it. And the people that we rented from said no.
Shouldn't ask.
I don't know how they even found out about it or.
They monitor the hours on the
Yeah.
machine, so they know.
Yeah,
The hour limit was higher
It
a
was,
couple years
it
ago
was.
because you know what we did.
Right. I think it was 50 something, right?
Yeah.
So last year when I rented, I asked.
are we doing the VLCT
Hours.
claims
They're
report?
dropped this year, 4 hours. So,
Plus the price went sky high.
yeah, it's like $4,000.
Is he here for?
It's crazy. Plus delivery.
Are you getting it at the tail on the grafted or Windham?
I'm not really sure. Sheriff called me this morning. Look and see when we were getting it. He's been trying to call the schedule it. He has been able to get a hold of it.
Okay, okay, we'll go on. The treasurer is on vacation, no report. The town clerk brought in $880.52 in the last 2 weeks of July. Then the chair report, I'd like the board to know that there's a VLCT claims report, a cost report in the packet. Are we waiting on the discussion of the tax rate? Or- Yeah, we're not doing. Okay, I would like the, board to know that just tonight I got somebody that, is willing to be appointed as the energy coordinator that we've been looking for, since before the town report was printed. I've been looking for somebody. So, shall we appoint him quickly now before he runs away? I'd like to make a motion to appoint Steve Overton to the energy coordinator position.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on. And then, one other easy one is the chairs that we don't need, can we put them out for free on Front Porch Forum and people pick them up if they'd like them? Or does anybody have any feelings about the movable chairs that are lining the hallway outside? So I can do, yeah, that's what I put. Okay, then the grant coordinator will do next meeting. And old business, the backhoe buyout grader lease. Connie, would you like to speak to that?
At the last meeting, I had put out that we need to make a decision on that in September. By the mid to the third week of September, we have a payment due on the grader lease and a payment due on the backhoe lease. But at town meeting, the rest of the voters voted to pay off the backhoe lease. So we now have a payment of about $92,000 for the grader lease and a buyout of the backhoe, which I think is I put in here at about $116,000. So I had put out to the select board that we don't currently have that in the highway equipment reserve or the highway reserve fund yet. We would have over $200,000 in November at the second tax collection time. At the time, Steve said, let's see how much we get in the first round of tax collection. We have gotten over 900,000 so far. So it's either deciding to deficit spend on a budget item, but know that we have the money to spend, and then that gets made up in November at the second tax collection. Or maybe it's borrowing in anticipation of taxes, but the board needs to decide how we want to move on that so we can direct the treasurer payments.
Do we need to decide that now, or do they have time to think about it?
I think every day that we wait, the payment goes higher because of the interest.
Buyout, because,
Yeah,
and in theory, there was time to think about it, could be wasted at the last meeting.
yeah. So what's the board?
We have the cash. We're not going to borrow. My opinion is not to borrow. We have the cash, pay it off.
I
I
agree.
mean, the deficit spending on a budget item, a line item, but that gets corrected when the second payment.
And are you making a motion?
That's the motion.
Okay, I'll second. Okay, Rob seconds it. All those in favor, or is there any further
Can I just
discussion?
make sure we're clear on the motion? The motion is to pay both those payments in September
Correct.
and pay it off.
Correct.
Yeah. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Rob? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so everybody has it. Okay, the contract with the Windham County Solid Waste, this is for compound post only. It has started and it's just, was it just my signature?
So they sent over the actual contract for the board. It's included in your packet. I have asked a couple of questions on it. It sounds like they're flexible to work with us, but they are looking to have a contract actually sign us.
If I'm not mistaken, the questions were about the food scrap. The
Compost or
compost.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's what the question of is, were they all right with sending the 6 cans at they had given us 4 cans at I can't remember the.
Turns out that their cans are larger, or their bins are larger than Casella's. So we have 5. And I think the idea is to see if that covers our need. There was 3 questions that I asked based on that contract. One is they're willing to sell us back dirt, the soil for lack of a better term. If we take them up on it, they'll deliver it to us. So there's a discussion about whether or not we want to do that. We don't have to make that decision tonight, but that's in the contract that they quote a price of soil bags. The second question I had is they put in the contract that we will put wood shavings in the bins to tampen down the flies and the smell. And I asked them, if we don't do that, is there consequences? He said, no, but we really recommend it. And then the third question I asked was, they have a provision in there that if we go over 100 pounds on any one bin, they will charge us for $100 for emptying it. And I asked them, how much does a bin weigh when it's full? Because I don't think we should be set up for, a fee. And he said he would work with us on that, but it is in the contract that we get charged $100 if the bin weighs over a certain amount.
When we first started with the food scrap,
25.
I'm sorry, $25 if it's over 100 pounds. Sorry.
when the law passed on the food scraps, and we started, they were going to triple T. Robbie and I were lifting those barrels and putting them on the back of the garbage truck to go to Brad. And those bins were weighing almost 300 pounds apiece. Wow. So every bin is going to be over 100 pounds.
And they're big bins.
Why don't we not sign the contract tonight? We don't have to. I mean, they've already started the service. Yeah,
I mean, there may be other questions you have as a select board. Those are the only 3 that I picked up when I read it. But they came into
The question why we didn't sign it the last time was it was a quote for 4 bins at $85 a piece, equaling 300.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you agree they're over 100 pounds apiece. Easy.
And I think our original question was, are they going to grant those bin prices if we go from 4 to 5 or 6?
And they did respect the prices, but then they added this provision about, and again, Katie points out I made an error. It's $25 for dumping a bin that's over 100 pounds.
But if they're all over,
But if it's always going to be that
$125.
way too, that's a sneaky way to add $125 overall.
That's where we made sure we get like 2, 500.
They're supposed to go by a scale and roll them onto a scale every day. Like, how are they gonna know what they're?
Could we go back to them and tell them that we just want a fixed price? How much do you want to charge us a month? That's what we want to know.
And they gave us larger bins.
Well, that's
So that just means
fine, and they were very accommodating to have them drop it off. But now all of a sudden the lawyers gotta sign it, and I'd rather wait, so. Shall we wait and have more questions and answers?
Or why don't you direct me what you want me to say?
I would like to see us get a set price.
Right, to
If they're willing to do that.
remove that fee.
Yeah, so 5 bins is what they seem to have agreed upon. So 5 bins,
So what I'm basically hearing is you want them to remove the fee.
yes.
We just say we're not signing it
Correct.
with that provision in there.
Okay,
Need makes it, we can sell it, maybe keep them.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, and now we are on to Tim Crosby. Tim Crosby is a homeowner taxpayer of Townshend, up, on West Hill. And he has had some troubles with the, collection of his taxes. And, he talked to Robbie about it, and then he came in and met with me. I think it was even on a Sunday one day he had time. And I told him, I'm happy to take your information. I'm not taking sides at all, but I will report to the select board. I can have my own feelings, but I'm a person on a 5-person board. And I made that clear to him. And he was fine with that. So I took a summary of the data presented by he and his wife. They have a registry of payments that they paid to the town They never got any receipts from them. They've asked for them, but our treasurer and her assistant have said no. Then, and they would come in and they would say, what do we owe you for taxes? This is them telling me this. I wasn't there. What do we owe you for taxes? Say we get a figure, they would write a check for said figure. And they were understanding that they have several properties in town. They sold the house. They paid all the taxes on the house that they sold at closing. And then all of a sudden comes this company called Core Logic that's paying taxes for the person that bought the house they sold and paying them under their tax number. So then when they would come in, what they think was happening, and it bears research, what they think was happening was that Core Logic was paying part of their taxes instead of part of the new homeowner with a different property number. And now they're being told by our town treasurer and her assistant that they need to deal with Core Logic, which is the company that works for the new owner. And they're like, why would I pay Core Logic anything, even if they have paid part of my taxes? I don't have a relationship with them, and help. And I said, I will bring it to the board. So
they weren't getting, they were paying with a check and being told they can't have a receipt.
I think that they sent it in by mail.
But they must have a canceled check that shows that they did
and
it.
they have a list of the checks that they've done, but they said it's gotten to the point where if we say, can we please have receipts for everything we've given you because it's so confusing? No. And, well, can I talk to you about this? No. Talk to Core Logic. And as I said, I'm only one person. It seems like, and they admit, we think we do owe the town some money because Core Logic was paying our taxes, but we're not involved with Core Logic. So if you can sit down and tell us what, the wife came in and tried to talk to Elaine, and Elaine, all she would say is, I'm underpaid. I should make $70,000 a year. And
Well, then find another job.
well, but
So the property changed hands from this couple to.
one of their properties, they own several.
Right, so
There were
they're,
3 of them. They sold one of them. They got 2 that are
Contiguous.
They're contiguous, but they're 2 different parcels. So they're coming down, what do we owe you? They cut a check, hand the check, but whatever goes on. And then
they're paying for all of them with one check.
the 2 that they
The
sold.
two that they still have. So when the other property changed hands from them to the company that Core Logic represents, something happened in.
Core Logic somehow got the tax number of their current 2 properties.
Oh.
And when they were, I'm getting this all from the person that's disgruntled, and Robbie got the same story from them. And if it's true, and I asked the treasurer, and she said, I'm not dealing with it anymore. And so I don't know where to go. And I told Tim that I would present this to the board. I will give you guys everything I have. We can talk about how to go forward. I know what I think. I personally think we have to demand that the treasurer give receipts and give a chronology of what happened. And I know if it were me as an individual, if somebody said, pay this random company that you have no history with money for your taxes you owe, I'd say, no, I won't. And that's what he's saying. He says, I have no history with this company. If I owe the town of Townshend money, tell me.
Well, Core Logic obviously is the second party for the mortgage holder of the new buyer.
Correct.
So somehow the property parcel numbers got mixed up.
Correct. And it wasn't fought by our representatives. When Core Logic paid on X amount of property, it went through to that property.
I would have to imagine that Core Logic had the proper parcel number and the name of who they loaned money out to, and so on and so forth. I mean, the first thing that you're going to get when you're going to give out a loan would be, what am I loaning money for? And that would be the parcel number of this that has this description of land, whether, you know, which is the amount of acres, the amount of buildings, the size of the buildings, the condition of the buildings, and the quality of the buildings, and that's how we come up with the tax funds. And that's what they're borrowing against. So CoreLogic goes to the town and says, this is our parcel number that we're paying for, and this is the name.
But somehow it doesn't.
Presumably.
Well, we don't know.
So, you know, you'll have 3 different pieces of property, all with parcel numbers. So it can't be that hard. It's like either CoreLogic, I highly doubt that CoreLogic went and looked and said, oh, we're gonna just pick this number for parcel number and pay on that.
Totally, but how are we gonna
So I think that
address
we need
this?
to demand, you know,
We make a
tell
direct.
them to direct them to figure it out.
Well, and when,
Honestly,
I think they said that they did figure it out and that they're comfortable with their position.
they said the CoreLogic has to be involved with the,
Well, just because they say that they're comfortable with their decision doesn't mean that we're all comfortable with it.
I know, but you're saying if you said to them, have them figure it out, I think they're going to come back and say, we did figure it out.
well, maybe
This is what they have been saying.
So
maybe we should
you
say
need
for
an
them to
explanation.
present their data to us
Right.
so that we can figure it out. And I think we owe it to our taxpayers that
This isn't something that has never happened before. I mean, people have paid taxes on property that wasn't their property, and we go to errors and omissions and we get it figured out with the BCA. That's what this whole thing's set up for. So all they need to do is go through the motions of getting it set up with the BCA, and we'll be fine. And then the BCA will figure it out when they have all the proof of everything that goes on.
would you like to talk to them, or would you like Connie?
Do they want me to talk to them?
It might be advantageous.
For them and me, or who?
do you think that it's been helpful to just be scheduling these one-on-one meetings with her? Or do you think it would be more helpful for us to make a motion with a directive to the treasurer to either talk to one of us about this or provide all of that information to us and the Board of Civil Authority? It feels like it needs a motion because
I
the
don't
more
think
we
we're up
talk
to the Board of Civil Authority yet.
Okay.
But if you want to make a motion, we can do that to direct Elaine to speak with.
Yes. The question you asked is which is more effective. Right. And I think it's a question is what's the goal? If the goal is to not create anxiety, antagonism, bad feelings, then of course the small meetings are more effective. But if the goal is to get at the information so that the board can have a concrete discussion about it, then that may be a correct.
Well, I mean, we make motions and then so it is. It's on the camera and it's legally binding in that way. And I think that that's the best way to go about it if we're not getting the answers when we are being
Because
casual.
we have asked.
Right.
The one part is being antagonistic about it, like what we're saying. I mean, there's
That's how it's
nothing,
interpreted.
Yeah.
interpretation is fine, but it's called, if you're doing the job properly and the people, there's no problems, then we have no reason to be antagonistic about it. But if there's a serious problem and nobody's willing to work on it, and we're trying to answer the question, that's not being antagonistic. That's all, we want to know what the truth is and what's going on with it, and it would be nice if you would work with us. And if you don't want to work with us, well then, I don't know what to say. I mean, we just put it on as another thing that's going on.
So what is the specific documentation that we need? Do we want a certain amount of tax history of transactions with this?
CoreLogic and Crosby and
So, and how long?
the check register that they gave me was from 9/16/22 to 6/23/25.
Say you want to find out when the property was sold.
And I think I have,
It's perfect there.
They've got it all.
they sold the old Martin house 10/21/22, and Crosby paid all the taxes at closing. So I think from the closing date, 10/21/22. And probably for all 3 properties.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to direct the treasurer to provide the select board with whatever records they have for all 3 Crosby properties and whatever time CoreLogic came in, those records as well, from the time period of 10/21/22 to 6/23/25.
Okay, I'll second that.
Let me amend it to say I want it by the next meeting.
Thank you.
Provide select board with all records for Crosby's 3 properties.
Yep.
From, when you say all record, you know, tax records?
Whatever they have, whatever information they have.
They might have correspondence for.
Give us everything.
So from 10/21/22 to 6/23/25 by 8/26/25.
I seconded it.
And Evan seconds.
Any further discussion, folks? And I'm happy to, Tim asked if I would give him a call and I'll tell him what's the matter with the minutes. We need a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Did you vote? Yes. Yep. Okay, crack ceiling bid opening. Goes to them. Rob, are you the bid opener?
Love to be. Not to exceed. This doesn't mean anything. It does.
And then are you going to speak to this little ditty? Yeah.
Nikon Coatings out of Barry, Vermont. Those bid description, crack filling at $8,300 a day. It says scope of the word crack filling based on route and fill operations, include traffic control, proposal based on the work, consecutive shifts Monday through Friday, excludes sweeping, excludes aggregate for areas. Work must be scheduled with operation no less than 10 business days prior to the desired start date. Proposed based on lease on the work being performed in 2025. Proposal valid for 45 days.
Does it say how many days? Just said per day, right?
So total estimate cost of the project, $24,900.
That's a lot of crap.
Actually.
We have.
You've done 2 roads, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Here, that's it.
What are you crack sealing?
All Windham Mill, from Route 30 to Eastville, and then for section Brattleboro. So it's been paid for the last 5 or 6 years.
And when you have a crack, does it mean there's a hole or is it just like a little preservation?
The reason why you crack seal is so you can stop the water getting up, paving and breaking it up even more. You usually do it in a 5 to 10 year range of paving to just keep the road sealed, so then you can probably get 15 to 20 years out of your paving. Otherwise, you're only guaranteed 15.
But where's the money coming from?
Because we had such a big grant for paving, $200,000, and we used that money, stuff over from the 35 project. So,
We saw the turnaround for that, we saw the turnaround for that, grant, those grant funds is gonna be pretty quick. When we decided that's part of that, the other Basin Brothers project, and then we decided to do some crack sealing. We had a highway committee meeting and said, let's put out an RFP and see how much it'll cost.
And you only got one response.
So
we had 2 guys show up in the previous, so.
the invitation to bid, it says scope of work includes sections of 3 roads within the town with an estimated total length of roadway to be cracked sealed at 6.82 miles. Windham Road, 2.67 miles. Vermont Route 35, 2.25 miles. And Grafton Road, 1.9 miles. And we have the money for it.
Yep.
I make a motion to accept Nikon's bid for 24,000, or bid to not exceed $24,900 for the proposed roadway. Second.
Within 45 days.
Within 45 days, please. Second.
It was 40, we had said that the RFP says by sometime in October, right?
They can get it done this year, if not, they.
Yeah, we gave them more than 45 days.
So,
The price only goes.
The price only holds for 45 days. Is it possible to do it in 45 days?
oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
How about if you call them and tell them that we've accepted the bid of the 24?
At this price for the, within this time frame.
Wrong page.
In that,
Yeah.
will you hold the price until you do the job?
Can I just say something? I like the idea of calling them and asking if they'll hold the price. I do want to say the reason why the RFP gave them till the end of October or sometime in October is because we knew we were getting a late start on summer planned work. And so we do know that a lot of these companies have already scheduled out their work. And so we're hoping to fit
But
it.
they gave us a quote within 45 days, so that
The price within
the price, so that almost implies that they could do it.
You can tell them that if they can get it done within 45 days,
Redo it.
redo the bid.
Yeah. You just tell them that your board approved it for this amount.
June 30th, whatever it is.
Okay.
Well, the other part with them being the only people, only company to give the price, could very well be when they get ready to do the job, they come back to us with a call and yeah, okay, the price is firm at the 24.9.
Yeah.
And if it's not, they can tell us, well, it's going to be 25.9 or whatever. We can,
Reconsider that.
well, we could have a meeting of the bid lines.
Yeah. So, did we vote on that yet? No. Okay, we need a vote on that, folks. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Connie's gonna tell us about grand list errors and omissions.
I don't know much about it, but Helen gave this to the select board so that you're aware that there was a correction to the grand list that has been submitted. It is not a substantial change, but the listers are obligated to make the select board aware.
Okay, and then what is this bridge engineer study agreement?
We have to sign the,
Is that allowing me to sign it?
it's in your packet, and Katie can speak to it.
All right.
all right, so I've been just kind of chasing down grant agreements on V-Trans for some reason with our 2026, I believe. Grants, they've just been slower to get out all the paperwork, I think, because of cuts or something. I'm not sure. So this one it was a competitive grant that we had applied for this winter, Better Roads Category C grant for stream bank repair. We were getting $19,600. Our match is $4,900. And I'd like to make a motion to have Ally Evans sign the grant agreement on behalf of the select board so we can get it back to them.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, all those or any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, okay, now we move on to submission of the draft town plans. Are you here for that, Bob?
Sorry?
Are you here for this one, the submission of the draft town plan?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to speak to us?
Well, the select board has got a copy of the draft plan, and the select board has to adopt it and after a public hearing. And it looks like that public hearing notice was already prepared. The only other thing the select board needs to do at this point, as far as I know, is to get that public hearing notice into the Commons this week, so that it can be published next week.
So my understanding is that the planning commission is giving the select board the draft town plan. It's in that folder if the select board wants to read it. Not that the select board is agreeing to it, but that they are submitting the draft. But there is a requirement to hold a public hearing. So the select board would have to choose a date and then fill out this draft public hearing notice that is not just posted, but it's put into a newspaper, which is the Commons. My understanding is that public hearings can happen at select board meetings. So it could be August 26th, it could be September 10th, that we announce a public hearing on the town plan.
Just keep in mind that the current town plan expires on September 26th. So we've got a period of time that we need to work with. So you won't have a town plan announcement until early July. So we've got the comments, make sure you get them to us and so forth. We did have one public hearing last week on the 7th, and there were a couple of minor changes that we made, but really at this point, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done, other than your public hearing.
So it sounds like the public hearing should probably be on August 26th. Or maybe September 10th.
Either of the dates, we gave, I think, 2 proposed dates, and it's really up to you when you want to do this.
Oh, I didn't know there was proposed dates. I just had the form to fill out. Oh, no, I'm sorry, September 9th. So the planning commission is suggesting the select board meeting on September 9th. Do we have to do anything at that meeting?
Well, it's a public hearing, so if people come and they've got comments about
Do we just put it on the agenda?
agendas that need to be addressed,
But you folks would be there to address them since you know them well.
if anyone has any questions, we'll be there.
It's part of the checks and balances.
Right.
They produce it, you guys have to look good.
So I gather that the select board then would vote to submit this notice to the Commons and hold a public meeting on September 9th. Would be the vote.
Based on when the comments runs for their public hearing notices, it should be done this week in order to make sure all the dates line up.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion for that?
Make a motion to put the Townshend Planning Commission report, town plan update through the Commons as soon as possible.
And to hold a public hearing at the September 9th meeting.
Yes.
Okay, a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So we have it. Okay, and then our last 2 items are town hall use request for a celebration of life and a movie night, which is a rain location only. So if you folks want me to sign those, I'd be happy to. Does anybody want to any more data on them?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this family celebration of life for Sylvia Elliott, requested by Peggy Hansen on September 13th from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Sounds like they're using the town hall for this.
Yes.
Sure.
And to authorize Elliott to sign on behalf of them.
What about you?
And this is a celebration of life, so are we waiving the fee? It's up to you folks.
So the was
Okay, and
she from town?
Valley Cares. I don't know if you think that's town or not, you know?
Yeah, let's wait and see.
Yeah. So we're waiving the fee, yes. And then the other one is a maybe if it rains for Community Hope and Action.
Someone said, do you want me to add that to my mention?
Oh, if you want to, that might make it quicker.
All right.
I'd like to amend my motion to add the family movie night if it rains. They want to use the town hall. That's Community Hope in Action, Friday, August 22nd from 7 to 10 p.m. Sub at 4, breakdown by 10:30, and to authorize Ally Evans to sign on behalf of the board and waive the fee because they're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Nick is working on the policy to kind of fine tune that. I found a really good one from Williamsville Town Hall that they rent out, and it had some particulars that we didn't have in ours. So I'll give that to him. And then what are these? Did we already approve these? Yes. We're going to hold off on this one. We've covered everything. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Did everybody sign the warrants, please?
I should already covered. I'll do one.
And you have to sign that. You want to make a
I did
motion
these.
to adjourn?
Some of, okay.
There.
Second.
The vote.
Oh, all those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.